Good morning. I'm Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, and I am here to announce today an executive order that will protect women's and girls' sports here in Nassau County. I'm joined by a number of officials. I would like to recognize them now. Legislator Samantha Getz, Town of Hempstead Receiver of Taxes Janine Driscoll, Long Beach City Council Member Michael Reinhardt, Commissioner of Parks Darcy Bellier, Deputy Commissioner of Parks Frank Alasia, Kim Russell, Independent Women's Forum Ambassador, Pat Pizzarelli, Nassau County Section 8 Athletics Coordinator. We have representatives from Nassau Community College, Mayor of Glen Cove Pam Panzenbach, Glen Cove City Council Member Grady Farnan, and if I missed anybody, I apologize. And of course, we have all our female athletes that are here today that have joined with us. Thank you so much for attending with each and every one of us for this announcement. So, for those of you not familiar with Nassau County, we are larger than 10 states in population. We have approximately 1.5 million people who reside here in Nassau County. They are from every race, every religion, and every ethnic group. And we celebrate the fact that we have a very diverse county. That includes being accepting of all lifestyles here in Nassau County. Our county has residents who are kind, generous, and accepting, and we are very, very proud of our record on these issues. It's very important to me as county executive that we set a tone and tenor of respect for all people. However, what we are finding out in the last few months is that there is a movement for biological males to bully their way into competing in sports or leagues or teams that identify themselves or advertise themselves as girls or female or women's teams or leagues. We find that unacceptable. It's a form of bullying. Biological males, whether they identify themselves as transgender or not, have sports outlets here in Nassau County where they can compete, and we encourage them to compete. There are 3 categories in Nassau County for sports, leagues, and teams that use our facilities, our parks, our beaches, our ball fields, tennis courts, basketball courts, hockey fields, soccer fields. And basically, there are 3 categories. There are men's and boys leagues, there are women's and girls leagues, and there are co-ed leagues. And what we are saying here today with our executive order is that if a league or team identifies themselves or advertises themselves to be a girls' or women's league or team, then biological males should not be competing in those leagues. They can compete. They can compete, if they like, in an all-boys or all-males league or a co-ed league. So this is not precluding anybody from participating in sports. What it is, it's identifying that there are women and girls who spend a tremendous amount of time and effort to excel and compete in their sports that are women's sports. Whether it's the WNBA, whether it's college, whether it's high school, whether it's just a community league. And it is an unfair advantage for someone who is a biological male to compete against a biological female. And again, I view this as a form of bullying, and it will not be tolerated. We tolerate no bullying in Nassau County of anybody. So I will be signing an executive order that says that the executive order will state, again, that if there is a league or a team that identifies or advertises themselves to be women's or girls' then biological males will not be able to compete under the license or the operating permit that they have with Nassau County. So, to give us a perspective from the outlook and experience of a female athlete, we have one of our own here who is a county legislator. She was just elected this year, and she is an athlete. She's competed in women's sports. She's here with her daughters, and she will give you the perspective of a female athlete with respect to what we're trying to do here today with this executive order. Our legislator, Samantha Getz. Samantha?
Good morning. My name is Samantha Getz, and I am a legislator for the 18th District, and I am here with my girls right over there. I'm here in full support of the County Executive Bruce Blakeman's executive order today prohibiting males from playing in female sports in county facilities. As a legislator and as a mother of two young girls who are just starting their athletic journey, and then as an athlete myself, this is a very critical and crucial issue for me on a personal level and professional. This is a matter that concerns the integrity, the fairness, and the safety of women's sports. Our biological differences are undeniable. I played high school basketball as a four-year varsity athlete. We would be up at 5 a.m. training, competing after games, weekends. My family didn't even do vacations because my competitive nature was to practice and be with my team. And there is no time I could wake up to compete against a male. There's no training that I could have engaged in to compete against a biological male. This is about protecting our female athletes. This is about making sure they're not denied opportunities for scholarships or for any type of opportunity that comes with playing sports, recognition and things like that. Anyway, I'm just here to say that it is just such an important issue that we need to make sure we stand up and we protect all these women up here, all these great athletes who have done so much and trained so hard. And I just hope that, I'm just so grateful for the county executive, truly. So thank you, and I will turn it over back to the county executive.
Thank you very much, Legislator Getz. So, as I stated, this is a situation of fairness, and we want to stop the bullying. There's too much bullying going on of biological males trying to inject themselves in women and female sports, and we will not tolerate that in Nassau County. It's obvious on a tennis court, let's use that for an example, that a biological male is bigger, stronger, and faster than a biological female. For a biological male to compete against a biological female in tennis or basketball or golf is unfair. And I don't know why, after hundreds of years and fighting that we did to give women a right to compete on every level of sports, why we would now destroy that. It's wrong, and it's a form of bullying. So we have with us someone today who unfortunately has experienced that bullying. She was a coach at Oberlin College, women's lacrosse. She spoke out very forcefully against biological males competing with biological females. And the result was that she was punished for exercising her constitutional right to express her opinion. You've seen her in many media outlets. She is a tireless and fearless fighter for what she knows is right. And we are very proud and honored to have her here in Nassau County. Coach Kim Russell.
I am here first and foremost to support all of these young girls here. Without having the ability to have single-sex competition, these young girls could lose opportunities. Not only could they lose opportunities, but they could be injured, not just physically, because what is happening is Boys and men are in girls' locker rooms and bathrooms, and this is just egregious. And we need to protect our girls and women. And I am so thankful to County Executive Blakeman for taking the stand and taking the charge to stand for women and girls. As he said, this is about including everyone. There is a place for everyone to play. A biological male can play on an all-boys or men's team or league, and a co-ed team or league. That's what those groups were made for. Title IX was written and passed in 1972. I am 56 years old. I was 5 when it was passed. I'll be 57 soon. It is because of Title IX that I was able to play 2 sports at the D1 level in college, that I was able to get a college scholarship that made my college experience cost less than my high school did. It was because of that that I got an internship at Wimbledon and then got a job with the biggest sports management company at that time, IMG, which was International Management Group at that time. It is because of that, then, that I had the opportunity to coach. I have started lacrosse teams for girls and women at every age, from youth to high school to club to college, and now I'm coaching an international team for the U.S. Virgin Islands, which is a labor of love. I have recently been appointed to the Women in Sports Commission for World Lacrosse, where I hope to be able to continue my advocacy for girls and women across the globe, not just in the United States. And again, I just want to thank County Executive Blakeman for being a pioneer, for standing up for women. And I want all of you to know that since I spoke out and went public with my story in the end of August this year, I have gotten more support than you can ever imagine, because this is about inclusivity, and it is about standing for women and girls. So thank you all for being here.
Great job, Coach. And again, we want to thank you for coming to Nassau County and continuing your advocacy throughout the United States and internationally to let people know what we feel is right and what we feel is wrong. With that, we'll take any questions that the media might have.
Are any of the public schools playing on these county properties that then someone on the public team won't be able to participate in, let's say, a meet or an event at one of the properties?
So some of our facilities have not only high schools, but other schools, private schools, and colleges and universities that use our facilities.
So just so I understand, if there's a transgender athlete, let's say on a track team, now they can't play, they can't participate in one meet because it's a county facility, but they could still be on the team otherwise?
We are not excluding transgender athletes from competing. We are issuing licenses and use permits to leagues and teams that we've done for decades, and there will be included on the form that they fill out an acknowledgement that we have this policy here in Nassau County and that biological males will not be able to compete against biological females if it's identified as a women or girls league or team. If it's a co-ed team, that's fine. If it's a male team, that's fine.
So what prompted this? Can you give us some indication of how did this all come about? I'm not aware of the frequency or the incidents that might prompt this.
Well, if you're not, you're probably one of the few people in America that aren't aware of this issue. I'm going to tell you that we've been contemplating doing this for the last couple of months, and I had my legal team research what exactly we could do to protect girls and women. And they indicated to me that signing an executive order that would require those leagues or teams seeking a use permit or a license to use our fields or facilities would have to affirmatively state that they are not identifying or advertising themselves as a girls' team, a women's team, a league that is exclusively for girls, and then allowing biological males to participate. And if you saw, when you asked just recently, there was a basketball game where a very large biological male who identified himself as transgender competed against women, and it was brutal to watch. It was not only bullying from an emotional standpoint, but physically bullying these women, and the coach of the opposing team rightfully took his team off the floor and forfeited the game rather than subject those girls to that kind of nonsense.
Mr. Blakeman, are you concerned about New York State and the Attorney General striking this down or any kind of competitiveness with this new?
I know of no policy in the state right now that would strike that down, and I would encourage all of our elected officials to join with us and protect girls and women here in New York State. I don't think it's a partisan issue. I think it's a fairness issue, and it's a bullying issue, and I would certainly welcome the support of everybody. It's also a common sense issue. I mean, this makes no sense having biological males compete on what's advertised as all-girl or all-female teams.
Claire?
How many trans athletes are currently competing?
I don't know that number. We know approximately how many people identify themselves as transgender here in Nassau County. And, well, the number varies, but it's between 0.5% and 1% of the population. And we welcome them here in Nassau County to participate in sports and everything else we have to offer, just not on teams that identify themselves as a girls' team or a women's team.
If the numbers are that low, why do we need to take executive action?
If the numbers are that low, why do we? Well, if you look around the world, if you look around the country, obviously, there are biological males who are trying to inject themselves into sports leagues and teams that are for females. You see it going on everywhere, and we want to make it very clear in Nassau County that our taxpayer dollars are used so that everybody can use all of our facilities and fields safely and based on fairness, and we believe that girls' teams and women's teams should be girls' teams and women's teams.
Marilyn?
Was the example you just cited a NASA example?
No, I believe that was in Connecticut.
And have there been any NASA incidents, as far as you know?
We are not aware of any incidents in Nassau County, but we wanted to get ahead of the curve here in Nassau County, and this is the time of year that our Parks Department issues licenses and use permits. Our main time where we have the most sports activity, obviously, is in the summertime with our beautiful parks and beaches, which are some of the most beautiful parks and beaches in America, I might add. And we are issuing licenses and use permits now, so we wanted to make it very clear for whether it's field hockey, whether it's swimming, whether it's soccer, lacrosse, that this is our policy, to give those leagues and teams a heads up. And they can identify themselves as a co-ed league or team, and they're more than welcome to participate. This is only affecting leagues or teams that identify or advertise themselves as girls, women, or female.
Kevin?
So just to clarify what you just said, this doesn't apply to biological females who want to play on an all-boys team. They can go ahead and do that. It's just the other way around.
That's correct. That's correct. There is no competitive advantage for biological females to compete on biological male teams, but vice versa. There is I mean, it's just science, and it's common sense and obvious that a biological male typically, not in all cases, but typically, is larger, faster, and stronger than a female participant. So we didn't feel the necessity to ban biological females from competing on male teams, and we certainly encourage it. My sister played third base on a men's hardball team, and although I fashioned myself as a good athlete. My sister Kathy was definitely the better athlete in the family.
Last two questions in the front. Yep.
County Executive, if you say that this is an issue of fairness, why not allow the leagues to make this decision? Why is the county making this decision? And are you trying to score political points with the National Republican Party?
Well, the leagues can identify themselves as being co-ed. So just advertise or identify yourself as being co-ed so everybody knows and there's a level playing field. It's about fairness. It has nothing to do with partisan politics. I certainly encourage all people of goodwill and common sense and fairness to join us. I see no reason why a biological male has to compete against biological females. It makes absolutely no sense. And we went through this process, as stated by Coach Russell and Samantha, where we went through years of fighting for fairness for women to compete in sports, and now we're going to throw it all away. This isn't a partisan issue. This is a common sense issue. It's a fairness issue. And quite frankly, I interpret this as bullying on the part of those biological males who would rather compete against females than a co-ed team or an all-male team.
Last question in the front.
How many facilities are we talking about, and also can you respond?
Excuse me?
How many facilities are we talking about, and can you respond to the LGBT community who's calling this discriminatory?
Well, first of all, we have close to 100 facilities here in Nassau County. We have ball fields, we've got tennis courts, basketball courts, swimming facilities, beaches, we've got all kinds of ice hockey rinks. So we have a very wide array of sports facilities, probably larger than most states. Not most states, but a lot of states. We do have a very large sports program here in Nassau County. And the second part of your question?
Can you respond to the LGBT community who read a statement calling this discriminatory?
Well, I don't know who they speak for because I was in Long Beach the other day, which is a city in Nassau County that's close to where I live, and I happened to encounter a lesbian couple who are friends of mine, and I asked their opinion. I told them I'm going to do this. I asked their opinion, and they were both athletes, and they were 1,000% behind it. So I don't think that everybody in that community agrees with this, and I would suspect that there is a large group of lesbians who support us because they work very, very hard to be taken seriously as athletes and to be treated fairly. And I think that probably if you polled most women athletes, they would be 100% behind us.
All right, County Executive, it's on the order
Okay,
now.
thanks.
All right, so let's have everyone up here. Hold on, everybody stay where you are for a second. Let's have everyone just shift over behind the county executive. Oh, you got it. So,
Kim, you want to come? You guys do that? Okay, let's do it. 5,
4, 3,